This video is going to walk you through the process of creating a new contact and adding useful information to that contact, such as address, employment, financials, any loans or insurance information, notes, emails, SMSs, and any documents. To get started in creating a new contact, simply click New and then choose New Contact. In the New Contact screen, you'll need to choose whether that contact is a client or a business. So we're going to go ahead and create a client. That will create one adult, so let's enter the information. We can enter in their phone number, their date of birth, choose their gender, and enter in a primary email address. We can then also add a second adult to the family. So let's say, for example, that John has a wife, Jane Doe, and again enter her date of birth and give her an email address. If the couple have any children, we can add those children at this point. We can then specify an address. You'll see it will automatically pull up any addresses that closely match the information that I've already entered. We can choose a contact status. So for example, are they currently a lead or an application or an existing client? We'll choose lead. And we can choose that they were referred to us by a partner. So for example, Mr. Biggs has referred this client to us. You can also manage that list in the settings here. It will automatically allocate it to you, or if you're an admin person, you can choose a different person to allocate it to. Simply click Save Contact and Continue, and that will go ahead and create this contact for us. Once you finish creating the contact, you'll see the contact is created and all of the information is available in here. I wanted to draw your attention first of all at the top. You'll see here that the contact has been automatically assigned into a lead pipeline with the status of new lead. This is because we chose that this client's status was a lead, so that's automatically put that in there for us. Also, you'll see here that any information that you've put in will come through. This client has no existing loans or in progress loans or any insurance, so we'll be going ahead and creating some of that information soon. Over here we have the activity, and click View All Activities to see the activities that have happened already, which is mostly that I've simply created this as a new contact. Okay, so the very first tab that we've got here is Clients. So the Clients tab has all of the information relating to John and Jane, and we can go ahead and edit that information by clicking the three-dot box and editing that contact record. So we might go ahead and put in a bit more information. For example, we know John's residency status and we also know his citizenship, so we can put that in here. And then we click Save to save that information. So at any point we can come back in and edit that information. We can do the same for Jane over here with her three-dot box as well. Under the Dependents tab, we have the ability to add any children or elderly dependents. So for example, I'm going to put in little Johnny. We'll go in here, and so that's a child. We can add as many children as you like. You can also add in any connections to trusts or companies in here. So if we click Add Company, you can either use an existing company that's in there, create a new company or a new trust. And then lastly, we've got any professional contacts that they may have. So we could add in somebody else as a solicitor or an accountant for this person. Under Options, you've got the ability to choose the type of client that this is. So for example, in the settings here, you'll see that there are various different client types. We can go ahead and add a new client type or use an existing one. So I'm going to use internal use one here just to show you an example. We can then also go through and assign ratings by clicking on the settings option here, or categories, or choose a review month, for example, and enter any of that information in here. You've also got the ability to change that information we've already provided, which is lead, contact status, and where we heard about this client from. You can also add notes in here at any time that relate to the client. And the second tab that we've got here is addresses. So if we click on addresses, this is the area to manage your customers' addresses. So we may have a current address, a postal address, but we can also add other addresses. So for example, if I hit add address, I can put in any address into here. It will automatically look up that address in using the New Zealand postal codes. And if we're not able to find the address, you can also use manual entry to go ahead and specify that address in there, but it's certainly easier if you can use the address search function. So I'll do that again. And then we choose the address type. So for example, I'm going to record this one as a previous address. We can give it a number of years and a number of months and what type of address it was. So it was renting and it was for $1,000 a month. You can save and add another, or we can simply save that and that will enter in that address to Address History tab. If you've specified a length of time, that will show here. If there's no length of time, you can edit any address or delete an address by simply clicking here. Okay, and our third tab here is the Employment tab. If we click on the Employment tab, we currently have no employment, so we can go ahead and add employment by clicking on here, and that will allow you to enter in all of the employment details. So for example, it will default to a PAYE. We can give it a length of time, but obviously you can change those options if those are not correct. Give it a role, so we'll put IT manager in here, full-time. If you know the employer details, we should put those in here. And then if you are aware of the income details, you can add those straight away into here. So we'll put in a salary here for 50,000 and it will be verified with a payslip. We can add more income in here as well, or click Save Employment to save all of that employment information. As with an address, you can come back anytime, click Edit to modify those employment details. And the next tab we have here is Financials. If we click on Financials, you'll be able to see in here you've got assets, liabilities, income, and living expenses. And each section totals up, so you'll see the total there, and at the top you'll see the total net worth, which is obviously the assets minus liabilities, and the total income, which is obviously any income listed here, and that is shown as a monthly figure. So under living expenses, you'll also see an expense grid, which allows you to enter in the information differently. But for each section, what we can do is click Add to add an additional asset. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and put a boat in here. If there's more information needed, it will pop up with an additional window. So we can put in the boat in here. And we can save that asset in there. If you need to edit or delete any assets, you can do that from here. So if I edit this, I can see all of the information that I entered in here. If perhaps I wanted to change the ownership, I could change that from joint to say just be John. And if we do that and then click Save Asset, you'll see here that the ownership will change here to just John Doe. Same thing with liabilities. If I click Add Liability, I can choose a type of liability. So let's go with a credit card. And I can choose the ownership or leave it as joint and then put in the details. And repayment amount and the interest rate, and whether it's in arrears or not. As we add in those figures, you'll see them totaling up here. Income, we've already got the income that we created from the employment previously. We can edit that, or we could add an additional income in here, so we can have as many different income sources as we like. So let's put a bonus in here. Normally we would need to connect it to an employment so that it shows that correctly. So we can connect it to, say, our previous countdown employment. So I'll go ahead and put in a bonus here. That's yearly, and I might just change the frequency to yearly for our income as well. And then we can save that. And as you'll see here, that updates it to 50,000 per year and a bonus of 10,000 per year. With the living expenses, I can add expenses individually. So for example, I can go and put in electricity and put that it's $240 a month. Or alternatively, you can use the expense grid, which is a much faster method of data entry. So if we open the expense grid here, each row describes a different item. So for example, board, clothing and footwear, electricity, which we've already entered, food and drinks. I can also reduce the ownership down to just one of them. So if we remove one of Jane Doe from the ownership or John Doe from the ownership, or include them both, which is the default option, and then we can put in a value. We can choose fortnightly, monthly, yearly, weekly, etc. And you can go through all of the expenses and enter all of those in. When we click Save Expenses, it will go ahead and create all of those expenses as individual rows. And again, we can edit them, delete them, or go back to the expense grid at any time. The next tab is Lending. If I click on the Lending tab, this will show me any loans that I currently have already in progress, or any existing loans that have already been entered for this contact. We can create a new existing loan that they may have currently have, or they may have a previous loan that you wish to enter here by simply clicking on plus existing loan. And then that will allow you to enter all of the details of their existing loan, right through lender information, and the product information, splits and repayments, etc., and any important dates. We're not going to go ahead and do that, but you can obviously enter an existing loan into the system. You can also, from here, launch a new loan application or a new opportunity. An opportunity is a place to hold information. So if I click on opportunity, I can enter a new opportunity. For example, this customer has come in to talk about a first home, and we can create this prior to creating a full loan application, and it really is just to hold the information about who are the borrowers, who are the guarantors, what's the purpose. So for example, it's first home buyer, we're looking at about 500,000, and we're looking at the security being about 760, and that will obviously give you an LVR. We can add additional parties in here, so trusts, etc., if we need to. And then from the calculations tab, we could perhaps go in and do a servicing calculation, funding calculation, or compare products. You can also add any communications that you have with the client in here, add any notes, or add any documents. And the reason this exists is really to give you a specific area to talk about that particular opportunity and to be able to save it. So customer would like to buy in Auckland. Cool. And one of the great things when we do create an opportunity is that when we go back to the record for John and Jane, you'll see here that the top area, the pipeline, has now shifted, so they've now moved into the opportunity phase. In another video you can reference the detail around pipelines, but by creating an opportunity, and you'll see it listed here now, we will have automatically moved them into that pipeline. You can use the three-dot box to get back in and view, edit that opportunity, or to delete it if it's no longer relevant. And then we're obviously, as mentioned, we can go here and go to a new loan application. Again, that will be in a separate video for you to watch how to do a loan application. Okay, and our next tab here is insurance. If you're an insurance writer, this area here will allow you to add existing insurance, in progress insurance, and any quotes or insurance profilers that you might have. We'll go through this section in detail with the insurance video, so please refer to that if you're wanting more detail on the insurance section. The Notes tab allows you to create any notes about the client. So if we click New Note, we can enter a note. You can pin the note if you want it to appear at the top of the screen all the time. Hit Save and Close, and you'll see that note is in here, and it's ordered by the most recent note, so you can continue adding as many different notes as you like, and those will show in here. You can edit and delete those from here. You can also search for notes, so if you've got some content in the note, by entering in the search criteria, that will allow you to find that note. Next tab along here is communications. So communications is your holding pen for any emails, SMSs, or Gmails that you've sent to that customer. You should link up your Gmail account if you currently use Gmail, and that will allow the system to connect through any emails that relate to that customer straight into here. It will match based on their email address or any loan or insurance reference numbers, so you'll see those in here. If we were to create a new email, which is located at the top, send email, you can do emails, mail, or SMS, any of those from here. Let's say we go to send email, that will show in this list. So in send email, we can choose from your templates. You can enter in any details that you like and then hit send to send that email. And that email will then show on the communications tab. It will also show in your recent activity. So that is what the communications tab is for. Now, depending on your screen size, you may have a three-dot box here, or you may have the additional tabs here. If not, click the three-dot box and that will show you the documents tab. The documents tab is the final tab within the system. Again, similar to the communications tab, this connects through to Google Drive. So if you connect your Google account, and you only have to do this once, this will connect up your Google Drive and allow you to choose a Google Drive folder to link and integrate with your documents. Otherwise, you can manually upload documents by clicking here, and then we can go through and upload any documents into here and view those. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you're looking to create a loan app, the next video to watch is the new loan application video, and that will walk through step by step how to create a new loan application and enter in all of the information that you need. Thank you.